Hi, and welcome back to Natasha's Reads Right Now. And if you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. Go ahead and introduce yourself down in the comments. Let me know what you're reading right now. And if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And right now, I'm sharing with you my first monthly wrap-up. And July was a fantastic month for me to start this. First off, I came up with a lot of fun things for me to track about my reading, and because that's just who I am. I am an OCD planner, and I love tracking, I love lists, and I love especially checking off those lists. So what I want to get out of these monthly wrap-up videos is a more enriching reading experience. So not just with the act of reading itself, but taking what I read and having it enrich my life around me, whether I'm just thinking about things differently or, just simply reading for entertainment, reading to escape, and just getting the really good feels and positive vibes that I want to get out of reading. And so that brings in this reading planner and what I'm going to be tracking. So let's just get into an overall view of what I tracked this month. Here are my reading trackers for the month of July, starting with a book count of 10, which included a page count of 5,545. And in those 10 books, I read 1 high fantasy, 1 adult fantasy, 3 grimdark fantasies, and 5 YA fantasies. Can you guess my favorite genre? I started 2 different series this month, and I also finished 2 different series. The formats of these books included 2 e-readers and then a e-reader audible combo. So I read the ebook while I was listening to the audible book at ×3 speed, 5 paperback books, 1 hardback, and then 1 hardback illustrated. This month I read from both male and female authors. The male authors included Brandon Sanderson, Thomas Wheeler, and Joe Abercrombie. The female authors I read were S.A. Chakraborty, Melissa Bashardost, Seba Tahir, and Trisha Levenseller. Getting into the main reason we all watch BookTube, and that's for the books. And last month, those included The Blade Itself, Before They Are Hanged, and Last Argument of Kings, Joe Abercrombie. Now, to say my reading experience with this First Law trilogy was interesting is an understatement. I am finishing up the reviews for these books and a Should You Read the First Law trilogy videos, so look forward to those later this month. Okay, the next couple of books I finished reading in July are from the read-alongs I'm participating in. I will go ahead and link both of them in the descriptions for you guys to check out. So starting with An Ember in the Ashes, Seba Tahir. This was a fun read. It's a YA fantasy, and it has a military school, and at times it kind of reminded me of Hunger Games, especially with how the Empire in this book treats the kids and trains the kids to become killers, basically. And so it sounds pretty heavy, but it was fast-paced and had only 2 points of view, so it was pretty easy to stick to the main storyline. And I don't know, this was just fun and entertaining, and that's what I needed right now with all of the very long and heavy fantasy series that I was reading last month. The other read-along I'm participating in is the StormAlong2020, and I read The Way of Kings, which is book 1 in the Stormlight Archive series. Oh my gosh, this was so good. I cannot recommend it enough. Sanderson's writing for me, it really just creates an atmosphere and more like an experience than just reading a book. There were so many different philosophies explored here, and even though this is not a grimdark fantasy, we still explored more grimdark characters in this book, which was really interesting, and it just gets you back to high fantasy. So I can't really describe or summarize the plot because it moves so slow that once you finally understand what's going on, you're already mostly through the book. So I will say, go check out the links in the description. There are so many good content from this read along that's already out there. So I highly recommend you go and check that out. Next up, we have Cursed, and this was the hardback illustrated edition. And it was different type of read, very different. And there's a lot of pages filled with illustrations, like I said, and it made it a very quick read. But I wanted more from this book than I got. I already went ahead and did a review on this. I'm still hoping to watch the Netflix series based off of this book, because I feel that they're going to add more to the Netflix show. So here's hoping. I read all of Melissa Bashardos's books last month, Girl Serpent Thorn and Girls Made of Snow and Glass. I have a dedicated review to both of these books. And these are basically fairy tale retellings. A book I just barely finished and squeezed into July was Daughter of a Pirate King, and I read this for my Sassy-Fi book club, and it was just fun, entertaining, very fast to read. I actually read it all the day of my book club, so I barely squeezed it in. And I love this writing. It was what I needed, just a fresh reboot from all of my heavy fantasy series again. And they compared it to a Lady Jack Sparrow on the cover, and that's exactly what it is. It was a fun pirate story, very fun read. A big trilogy that I finished this month was The Empire of Gold, and it's the Devabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. It was very good. I really liked it. It has Jen, magic carpets. This series just really hit the spot for me. It's Middle Eastern inspired, and I loved it. It was really fun, and the ending of the trilogy really just settled everything. It didn't, clear cut, nothing else is going to happen. This is how it ends. But everything was very satisfying, and the biggest thing I felt was, even though I'm going to stop reading it, I feel like it still lives on out there in the imaginary world. So really fun trilogy, and I felt very accomplished by finishing it. Okay, so in addition to my reading planner, where I keep track of my daily page count goals for each of the books I'm reading, I also like to use my Goodreads account to, after I read a book, I like to categorize it by authors. And I follow the authors on Goodreads and on Amazon. Amazon gives me good updates whenever the authors I follow come out with a new book. And that really helps keep a consistency to my TBR list, because I really enjoy binge reading authors, or completing a whole series before starting too many new ones. And that's another helpful thing for me with wrapping up a month and planning for the next month. That is it for all the books that I read in July. I really hope you enjoyed this new monthly wrap-up video. If you did, let me know down in the comments also what you're reading right now. And if you are a big fantasy book reader and you cannot lie, go ahead and like and subscribe.